The call of the first disciples, from Matthew chapter 4, verse 18. As he was walking by the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, who was called Peter, and his brother Andrew, casting a net into the sea. They were fishermen. He said to them, "Come after me, and I will make you fishers of men." At once they left their nets and followed him. He walked along from there and saw two other brothers, James, the son of Zebedee, and his brother John. They were in a boat with their father Zebedee, mending their nets. He called them, and immediately they left their boat and their father and followed him. It's a touching passage today, an inspirational passage for us, one in which we see our Lord coming into the everyday lives of these men and inviting them to do something. But what we want to focus on as we begin this conversation regarding relationship with others is, who are these men? What is their identity? It's clear that Christ comes to them, and we would use one word to describe Peter, Andrew, James, and John. They're fishermen. It's part of their identity. It's the only identifier that we're sort of given. And typically at this time period, it would be incredibly unexpected for a rabbi, someone of Jesus' position and his orientation towards teaching. It would be unheard of for a rabbi to recruit who? Fishermen? To be his followers. But nevertheless, these are the first that he calls. These fishermen. And he says, "I will make you fishers of men." That is, I will take who you already are. He knows that they're fishermen. He knows what they're good at. He knows their abilities. They mend nets. They throw them into the water to try to catch fish. He says, "I know this about you. And I want you to use that for the glory of the kingdom." The ramifications for us are this. There are many. But for starters, God knows who we are. God knows you better than you know you. He knows me better than I know me. And part of our lives as Catholics, part of our relationship with Christ, is this process of letting Christ show us who we are. Show us who he created us to be. You are in a period of self-discovery at this moment. Students in high school. A time characterized by a lot of things going on at once. You're growing older, you're learning new things in school, you're advancing in certain subjects, you're figuring out which subjects you like, which ones you don't. Maybe you don't like any of them. But you're growing at an exponential rate so quickly. And on top of this, you might be in sports, you might be in drama, in music, you might be in these extracurricular activities. You're being pulled and you're being stretched in these numerous different directions, all in the interest of saying many things. What am I good at? What am I passionate about? Where do I want to go in life? What do I want to do? Who do I want to be? These are great questions. They're questions intrinsic and part of who you are at your current age. And I'm glad you're asking them. I hope you're asking them. Our Lord invites you to ask them. We are invited to discover, over the course of our lives, who we are. That's what Christ does in this passage. He acknowledges who these men are. And they know who they are. They know that they're not disciples, apostles. They choose to leave everything, to leave their nets, their physical nets, in the interest of casting nets among men. Precisely what our Lord calls them to. "Come follow me and I will make you fishers of men." But I want to focus in on these questions that we have about our identity, about who we are as people. That's going to be the focus of sort of this first portion. We're going to watch 3 videos. 3 videos from music theater, which is an area that I have a particular interest in. I majored in music in college. And what I like about music theater, Broadway shows, the 2 in question being Dear Evan Hansen and then The Greatest Showman, which was released as a movie a few years back. What I like about this as an art form is that it tells a story. We hear the stories of these people's lives. And we're invited to see in their lives, where is my life connected to this individual's life? Where do I see a part of my story, and how do I understand my life anew, given that this person just lived something similar, experienced nearly what I'm going through right now? How do I relate to them? And again, they're a character on screen or on stage, So it's not as though we have a friendship with these people, but we can look at their lives, we look at the way that they live, the way they respond to these scenarios that come up in the musical or in the film. We look at how they respond and how they think through the problem, and we learn something for our own lives. The first example comes to us from Dear Evan Hansen. It's a song called Waving Through a Window, in which you have this young high school kid with a high amount of social anxiety. To the point where, he's anxious around everyone he interacts with at school, and he has very few friends. And he sings this song. It's as though he's looking at the world through a window pane, unable to see, unable to participate with other kids his age. He is sort of held back. He sees what's happening, but he doesn't know how to get through the pain. He doesn't know how to interact with these other students, with other peers. But he has a desire to. We're going to see in this, he has this sort of desire to relate well to other people, to know the right words to say, the right way to act. He earnestly desires that. So I want you to watch this video and listen to words, phrases, ideas. Jot down a few. If any part of this video resonates with your story, write that down and think about it. We'll talk a little bit more after you watch this clip.